What's that? Is that beer?
It's Vinto, that is.
Vinto. Were you a child?
And it's not the fizzy stuff. It's
Vinto.
Oh,
John, we can moot you, you know.
Liquid Viagra.
Right then, it gives me great pleasure to introduce episode 96 of the Fan Roundtable of the Old Sussex by the Sea podcast. We have the wonderful, lovely Windy John Gale here and agent Super Malk, who's just hot off signing Joe Gabodi's first professional contract for Gillingham. So you're a very happy man, aren't you, Malcolm?
Oh, I am, yeah. Yeah, it was good to get that deal done, really.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Vinto.
Yeah. And your fee?
I can't divulge.
I can't divulge. I can.
No, a good agent never divulge his fee.
Yeah. Well, we thought. Unfortunately, the Hastings boys lost on Saturday and lost fairly easily. I hear to Carshalton. It was a bit of an average game for us. That's going to happen from time to time. Myself and Windy weren't there. I've heard from a number of people how the game went. That they were very great. It was we were quite average. But the Malcolm was there. Give us your verdict, mate.
We were worse than average, mate. We were
enough.
Poor. We were poor. It's probably the worst game I've seen us play. They weren't great, but they just got at us, and yeah, we just didn't seem to turn up. So it was a really poor game. So
was that just from whistle to whistle, or was there any point where we perked up a bit, or was it just a flat Saturday?
It was a flat Saturday. We just, I think we've deceived a little bit in the last few weeks. We've been getting results, and I think we've actually thought we've been doing quite well. And we played against some poor sides and got results. To be fair, and I think Saturday we just come up against a team that weren't poor, but they weren't great either. But they were better than what we had been playing, and we didn't turn up again.
I think I sort of touched on it a little bit last week by saying we're grinding out 3 points without playing that brilliant.
Yeah.
And now it's just sort of come and bit us. So it doesn't mean we ain't going to do well again. But
no, for the Craig game, we did okay against a good side. But again, it was 1-0 and without sort of playing that great. The other teams were poor. I think Corinthian Casuals and them type of teams. They were poor and we should be beating them comfortably. And we come up against a team that wanted to win it more than us, and we just didn't turn up again.
And again, like obviously Gary likes to use that bench early. Just nothing came from the bench.
To be fair, Chris, when you look at our bench, we've not got game changers on there. We got youngsters on there. And I'm not on here to run youngsters down, and I won't do that. But
no, you get arrested, mate.
Yeah,
you run up youngsters down, mate.
Yeah, get on a register or something. But
hang on, mentions of the register 2 weeks in a row here. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get off it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not game changers, are they? And they, place like Carshalton must be thinking, when they look at our bench, it's not anything to fear really. But it is what it is,
So you've buried the team.
Yeah, the subs. Shall I move on to the management?
Yeah. Does Gary have to go as well now? Is that it?
No, not yet. I'll give him another week to make up for it. I told Mino when I left.
Yeah.
I said, you're right on the knife edge now.
So it wasn't a happy experience, is what you're saying here, Malcolm.
No, and it's just disappointing, when you have a long journey, which even for me, I'm sort of 3/4 of the way there compared to a lot of the Hastings fans that travel up on the coach. It's disappointing when you go and watch that. We were 2-0 down. I don't think we kicked a ball. So we certainly couldn't string more than 2 passes together. That's unusual for us, even at the back. We just couldn't string them around.
I'm almost in tears here. This is a tearjerker, Malcolm.
The only reason I wanted to come on tonight to really slate them.
Well, from what I've heard, obviously it was a 3G pitch. It wasn't a great 3G pitch, and
No.
maybe it's just me and that I'm superstitious, but I just don't think we ever play well on them, and that might be just in my head. But whenever I hear we're playing on a 3G pitch, I always think, oh fucking hell, it's going to be.
I don't like them.
Yeah, just and that hoodoo seems to continue.
Yeah.
So
it almost feels a bit almost unfair that you got
one moment, guys. I'll be back with you.
Oh, is that Joe? There we go. He's not happy. He's not happy. He's got a 3-year deal. He wanted a 3-year deal. Malx has only got him a 1-year deal.
I see. That's the problem. He's back with us when classes go back on. No, he's back with us.
Hello, guys. I'm listening. I only muted myself.
Any more about Carshalton?
No, we best get off that.
But how many roughly do you reckon we took up for that then? How many fans roughly?
How many did they say there was there? 400? I reckon
Yeah,
we
about
took.
that. Yeah,
I reckon we took about 100 of them.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. I mean, it's it was quite a few of ours. I looked around, and like at the end when the players come up and clap and that, there was a lot of fans of ours left, and I sort of looked around. I thought, oh, I didn't realise you were over there, and you were over there. The usual crowd, Gary and his lot, and Gina and that were there behind the goal, but there was a lot on the side stands as well.
Yeah. Well,
you're in the corporate boxes these days, isn't you, Mount?
Yeah, well, no, I wasn't this time.
no prawn sandwiches.
No.
Right, moving on. Okay, moving on. Just quickly to fill you all in. When I was advertising this week's podcast, we wanted to talk about the club statement that Hastings are staying in Hastings, which as a statement I like. The statement itself didn't make much sense, but it's good to see Hastings staying in Hastings. I did ask any member of the club if they could come on and talk about it, and funnily enough, all of them were busy. They could all be busy, I don't know. But also a lot of the fans, I'm very surprised, aren't here. Just a lot of trapping's been going on, a lot of WhatsApping and things on Facebook and chat. Well, this was the opportunity, and you're not here. So what can we say to that?
I haven't read some of it on Facebook about 5 minutes before I came on air. I'm probably more confused now than I was before. So there's not a lot I can say about it either.
Oh, yeah. Well, is it just going to...
Go on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with anyone who's Hastings fans listening to this has seen the statement. I haven't got it in front of me. I'll get it in front of me so I can read it.
Yeah, it's worth reading.
I'll see the original statement. I think it was on the website. But
okay. Is there another one? Is there another one?
No, that's the one. That's the one Mount was talking about.
I was about to say, bloody hell, not another one.
But some of the comments have been put on since are like statements, but they're the sort of people you should be hopefully would have turned up tonight to say what they want to say.
Yeah, well,
put it on paper, and writing on social media. There's your chance to say it for real, isn't it?
I expected George to come on. I must admit, he's been very vocal about this sort of thing. But
there's a lot of them that have been vocal, Malk.
Yeah.
What the bit I don't understand, in the report, which is that they're saying that there was going to be a draft report from their previous meeting that they had. When was it? 2, 3, 4 months ago now?
About December, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. So because they know that draft report's coming out, that they're no longer moving to Eastbourne, right? That makes no sense because they made the comments in that I don't really want to think about it, but that supporters club meeting where they said that they've agreed 6 months ago that they're moving to Eastbourne. Yeah, you were there, John, weren't you? Yeah. And they said that, yeah.
Yeah.
They'd agreed this already.
They didn't say they was definitely moving, though, did they? They'd agreed that they could do if the
they said
the ground didn't pass the safety thing.
Basically, they said that they made an agreement with Eastbourne Borough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they made an agreement with Eastbourne Borough.
Just in case.
Well, no, they were saying they were going to Eastbourne Borough. As you remember, they said that.
They said they had to do it early, just in case it failed its safety.
Yeah.
You should really.
Yeah, I think that's how I understood it at first, but it seems to have got clouded over a bit since then. This is why we need somebody else on it, isn't it?
Well, I thought. Well, as I was at the meeting and the chair, I thought that what was being said was we are moving to Eastbourne Borough because we are not paying this ground. We don't want to anymore. You know, we want the time kiln to come back on as an option that you've taken away. And so, if you're not giving us that option, we're going to relocate into Eastbourne Borough. We're going to take the club out of the area. That's what I thought it was from. So, I mean, maybe look, that's just my take.
There was so much going on that night. It was quite hard to. I said at the time, it was quite hard to follow what was going on in that.
Because what's changed? To be honest, all right. If it's that case, if it's right, well, you know, they still have to pay that money that they don't want to pay, which is the ground maintenance.
Yeah.
Well, what's changed? Why is it now that they do want to pay it? But like, they're saying it's gonna affect budgets and that. As I say, the report itself, they already knew this report was coming out because it was agreed anyway that there would be a report made. Okay. And it was going to come out at a certain point in time. To me, this is them getting out of this because they've made a right pig's ear of it. Because it's like no one wants to go to Eastbourne, no fans are going to go there, and they've found a way to kind of get out of it.
It almost sounded like, right, we're listening to the fans. You don't want to go to Eastbourne, so we'll stay at Pilot Field, but somehow we've got to find the money. So what are we going to do about it? So that's how I read it anyway. And it's like the money for maintenance, you know.
Because you remember they said, that there's not going to be any kids academies because we're going to go Eastbourne.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember when he was Malk? I can't remember. I'm going to have to re-listen. I don't want to re-listen to it, but maybe I need to re-listen to it. And if I am saying things that are wrong, it's not intentional. And apologies if I am. But this is how I remember it.
That's why you need somebody else to volunteer to come forward so they can say what's right, rather than what are happening now is they're listening to this and then.
Well, I don't care. The most important thing is things on paper, not words. Because you could have, for instance, I'm just throwing a name out there. You could have Billy Wood come on and say whatever. It doesn't mean that it's what's on paper. You know, like in terms of, it would be handy to see, well, what was the agreement? What was in place? Did it cost us any money? Eastbourne Borough ain't going to do this for free, are they?
So the way I understood it was that it was, and as I say, that it was done early because somebody said, why has it been 4 months? This was agreed 4 months ago and we've not heard about it. And then it was said it had to be done because we had to get something in place just in case, like we failed the safety thing and more money, which we're not, and I agree with you, which I actually said we're not willing to keep putting money into it for the ground maintenance. And they did quote an amount that it needed to be, or how much that was each year. And somebody said, well, show me pretty much receipts and evidence on that. But yeah, it was done just in case, all these sort of things didn't materialise and, it couldn't be done. But yeah, it does seem strange that, like you say, all of a sudden those things were set there. I mean, we haven't had the safety thing. We haven't had a lot for next year. The maintenance is still going to be the same. So how come all of a sudden we are going to pay that? And we don't need Eastbourne now. It's when a couple of months ago we did need them.
Yeah, something doesn't add up.
Well, there'll be two things. Well, it would be that the council have had a whisper with them. I've got something to say about the council after this. The council have had a whisper to them and told them that this is what's in the report. Maybe there's other options available. Just take the Eastbourne thing off the table. Yeah. Could be that. Because
there is something written in. There was something there that made me think there's something else going on other than tile kiln even.
Well, you might be right because I had an interview with the council that I had to take down because the club was threatening legal action and is still threatening legal action. I was going to put that interview up.
I thought they were going to drop that.
Well, the council are not willing to let me put it up because they're worried it might have legal action again. And I'll be honest, I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say there. Malk knows about these things you got to sign. These what are they called again? Silence orders, whatever they're called.
That's the one, yeah. That type of thing, yeah.
Yeah, because we're not ones to gossip. Anyway, But that's what I'm saying. It would have been really helpful if someone on the club was here. All
Thing is, Chris, you have to gossip because at the end of the day, you're not given the true facts, are you? So, you know, and you just get little snippets here and there, and everybody adds them up, and you know, 2 and 2 and come up with 5. And you have to because you're not told the truth. You know, it's they jumped on that meeting really, I think, to get a bit of the fans up in the air and force the council. That backfired a little bit. You know, but did it, you know, and I think they threw in there about Eastbourne, and yeah, you know, maybe it has a little bit got to the council, and I think it worked to an extent, because if you listen to that, and like you say, you was there, the council ended up arguing with each other, saying, well, I was unaware of that, and you know, who made this decision on his own, and you know, so it achieved what they set out for it to achieve, half. You know, if you like, I think they wanted a lot more of the fans jumping up in the air and going on their side against the council. But on the other hand, I think,
Malk, having 50 people in a room on your side doesn't mean anything to you know, the council is I mean, how many people live in Hastings?
Yeah, exactly. It's over 100,000, isn't it?
Yeah. How many people come to an Hastings game?
Exactly. I've always said that. Same
it's
thing.
Like, you know, in terms of the council, and I've been pestering the council all the time about facilities and things like that. I would like answers, but I want to see forward progress. I'm not interested in party politics and all that. That's for idiots, because they're literally all the same, all politicians. You know, we're dealing with politicians here. You know, and there is some hope that there will be facilities in the town. But again, all chat. I've been promised month for a couple of months at least now that there would be an announcement about new facilities. Hasn't happened. Beginning to think that maybe this is. It could be that, you know, it's, you know, they're waiting for April. I don't know, but you know, don't promise something like what you say with hearsay and gossip. If you have to guess, to guess what's going on,
and you're never going to get anything. Have we got local elections coming up in May?
May, yeah.
I think we have, haven't we? Be interesting to see if anybody comes round houses like they normally do. See what they have to say about it all. Usually they don't. I don't know nothing about that. That happened last year. Oh, by the way, you do realise if you're going to vote, you do have to take photo ID with you this time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I didn't know about that. It's quite new. So if you're voting, make sure and you want to vote, make sure you take your ID with you, because otherwise your vote they won't even give you a card to vote. So anyway, that's aside, but yeah.
I was going to draw 3 cheeks of the same arse on the on the card myself, but
that might turn into the new club logo.
But yeah, I'm kind of waffling here a bit. I think the point being is, I don't, again, like the club statement itself, and I'm willing to have conversations with anyone about it on here, you know, just for them if they want to. You know, I'm not here about burying people here. It's just, it is confusing. Yeah, the reasons behind it are confusing. The statement that come out, where, you know, a lot come out of that supporters club meeting that wasn't good, yeah, and a lot of ill feeling, you know, even though I'm just talking about me again here, but like I resigned because of this. Lots of, you know, and it means a lot. That personally meant a lot to me. I mean, it might not mean anything to anyone else listening, but it's like, you know, when you're trying to get something going and moving and progressing.
Yeah, you struggled that night because people weren't listening to what you were saying.
Well, it's like any time. But I started with my kids. None of them listen to me either. But just that thing of that they've made this statement, they've pushed it, they've inferred that we were going. They inferred it, and like they seem to have jumped on any old excuse to get off that. And if they haven't seen the report, if they haven't seen the report, which I think they probably have, maybe
it's a new sign.
Yeah, he's listening.
Yeah, he's all ears. He's all ears.
He's all ears.
Hello, mate. Rough.
Yeah. What do you reckon of what do you reckon about the ground move? What's the name of the dog?
Marley.
Marley. What do you reckon of the ground move? Not much. No,
don't want to go.
Bloody rubbish.
He likes Eastbourne better than Hastings.
There you go. Marley speaks. But it doesn't solve any of the problems. Yes, we stay in Hastings, but where's this money going to come from? If we're an Ishmael Prem side, which we definitely will be next season, at the very least, you never know. Hopefully, we can get a couple of wins and get in the playoffs. But if we don't, we're an Ishmael Prem side. there's a certain level of spending we're going to need to have to remain an Ishman Prem side.
Well, what's even worse is if we did get into the playoffs and then won it and then got promoted, what would we do then?
I think that the ownership might find more money somehow.
Well, you'd like to think so, but we'll see, won't we? Let's hope the lads can sort it all out, and then we know.
and also,
I don't think they will. That's the thing, isn't it? They're just throwing money, and they come here. They're businessmen. They came here to make money, and they perhaps fallen in love with the club, but they're not going to keep throwing money at it and not getting anything back at all.
No.
So they'll withdraw that money if they don't.
And in some respect, who would, That's
right. You can't just keep throwing money at it when you're not going to make anything back. It's.
But the club, like, all right. Now I'm going to sound really naive here, Malk. Right? We get the biggest, or at least second biggest attendances in the league. Right? That money's going somewhere. Yeah. Is it all going on wages? Is it your agent fees?
No, it certainly ain't that. No. But yeah,
so there's money coming in.
Yeah. But it costs money to run as well.
Of course, but I can imagine there's loads of hidden costs. I can imagine that. I'm not trying to say that these people are and anyone's business person they shouldn't. It shouldn't just be there as an empty checkbook. But equally, if we're successful, like I presume there's money for going up and things, isn't there, in this league?
I don't know how much. I wouldn't have thought there was a great deal at this level, but
then you're looking at sponsorship. You're looking at
you'd like to think promotion would gain a bit more attention from local companies who want to get their name down on sponsorship and put some money behind a club. Full stop.
But with sensible investment, I mean, we're not being mad, are we? I mean, let's be honest. There's loads of clubs above us that have spent a lot more. There's probably a few clubs below us that have spent a lot more. Am I far off there, Malk?
No, you're not that. You're not far off at all. There's big money out there. It's certainly, the horn churches and things like that. When they can pay 30,000 for a player and that sort of thing, and paying him big wages. It's there's a lot of money out there. But then you got big backers at clubs like that, aren't you? The same as we have. We got big backers at the moment, but they don't keep doing it, do they? And that's a problem. And done it for a couple of seasons and thinking that they're going to make money on the ground move in and that sort of thing, and building houses, and it's not materialised, so they're taking their money back, or holding some of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they have. I mean, no, I'll get trouble for saying this, but they have put money in. They have. There's no doubt about that.
No.
Whatever anyone thinks of, whatever they think of the owners and all that, they have. And it's
out of their own pocket. That's the thing. It's not tax evasion or anything like that. It's money out of their own pocket. So there's got to be a time when you say, I can't. It's not a bottomless pit, is it? So. Ultimately, there's become a time when they say enough's enough. Yeah,
times haven't got any easier for anyone either. So everyone's finding a pinch in different ways, and eventually, I mean, this just say we carry on in this league for a little while in this division, people are going to find it hard to just get their money together to go to a game. They can't. I have to choose sometimes which game I'm going to because I can't afford it all the time. It's dearer than it. Much dearer than it used to be out of a regular, Saturday afternoon, boom. But you know yourself, Chris, when you're going out and you go or you get, especially when you're going away, which obviously I don't get to do so much, but you go away, you're spending a lot of money on your travel. Then you've got your booze and anything else that you might want to
booze. We don't drink.
No. All right, Vimto. But yeah, it mounts up, doesn't it? Even at this standard, this. And it can get an expensive day out, and if you've got midweek games as well, then you're looking at quite a lot of money.
Well, to me, that shows you the loyalty of the Hastings fan base.
Yeah, God.
It's like
absolutely.
A lot of people devote a lot of money and time to this.
Honestly, I've got
unsung heroes.
Total admiration for everybody, especially the ones who go away games, because I know how much that costs, and it's not cheap.
No, you're looking at 50 quid a game, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's
exactly
50 quid a game, and it's that's a lot of money, isn't it?
And we might be
£200 a month, isn't it?
Yeah, and we might be getting 1,000, say, a week at home, but a lot of those are season tickets that I'm paying. They're not paying a full whack. They're reduced usually, and there's a lot of youngsters going in. They don't pay full whack. There's a lot of OAPs as well. So it's not, you're not getting nearly 1,000 times £12, are you, at each game?
Are you suggesting they should put the prices up?
No, well, it's going to happen anyway. It's bound to. I was horrified at some of the prices that in the leagues above us. You're only going up one league and you're 15 quid a game, and then National League, I think it's 18 quid for some of the National League games now. So quite a lot, isn't it? But of course, price of success, isn't it? It's what your happens. So what would happen if we ever got into the football league? As much as we all want it, suddenly you have to start thinking twice, don't you?
Well, yeah, you've got to do it sensibly. I mean, and if that involves, I'll tell you now, if Hastings were playing in the National League, I'll take £18 a game.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm quite.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you'll be paying for extra quality on your own side and the teams you're playing against and everything, won't you? So. Yeah.
But I think, if you look to the outlay of a club, I think you'd probably be, well, we'd all be surprised, wouldn't we? Because you'd think, I never thought about that, And you got one guy coming in paying 12 quid to watch a game. That's good. You're paying the bar staff £10 an hour. That was a good point. And they've been there 2 hours. That's 20 quid. We're 8 quid down.
I was just reading before.
Yeah, but we're all alcoholics, Malcolm. So.
I know, and we stay longer, which means he's got to pay them longer. It's 30 quid for 3 hours, and
I was reading just before.
It's our fault then.
Just before we came up, I was reading there's a bit on Facebook about perhaps we should change the light bulbs and the floodlights, for instance, LED ones. You could save money over the long period. But it's not just the cost of the bulbs, is it? You've then got to hire some way of getting it up there. You've got to get somebody to do it. Suddenly it doubles the price. Everyone thinks, that's the price of your bulb. Great. But it all adds up, doesn't it? It's all little bits here and there. And you would want to.
I think we've gone off here. We've gone off on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, it's sort of linked, isn't it? In a way.
Well, I suppose so. But final thoughts on the statement. Do you want to? You've got none, John, have you?
I'd just like to say that it'd be nice to have somebody from the club come on and explain it a bit more.
Mark? Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't know how it's gone from we've got to go to Eastbourne because we're not paying anymore on the ground, and then all of a sudden we're not going to Eastbourne. What's gone away? As the ground suddenly modernised itself, and it doesn't need that standards. Suddenly become. I don't know.
Something else has happened, I think.
Well, and if the stand has suddenly become all right, well, then someone was exaggerating when they first said it. Do you know what I mean? So it's but from my point of view, I just think that whoever has to have conversations, because obviously we've got Gary and Meany, I'm sure they're going to be thinking about budgets for next season at some point, depending on how the season goes.
They already are, I should think.
More than likely.
Yeah.
And to hear. I hope that they've had a conversation with the ownership. Yeah, because
we've got to have, because at the end of the day, Chris, you know how football works. At the end of the day, you cut a budget, you lose players. And you not only do you lose players, you can't attract new players because you can't pay them decent wages, and you end up on a slippery slope. Then, don't you? Because you go down another league because you can't attract the players, and then you can't attract them even more because you're too lower level, so it just you end up going further and further down. It's I don't know. I think tile kilns got to happen. Something's got to happen because we're not. You haven't got facilities for the girls' football.
That's the bit that worries me just as much as what I see on Saturday afternoon. Is the club has built up so much community stuff over the last 5 years, really. You never used to have all these youth teams playing for them and girls teams and all that. Look what they've done. That's why you won't see everybody connecting to all those youth teams and all that up on a pilot field on a Saturday afternoon. But they're there at all the other games, and it's just as interesting and it's still part of the club, isn't it? It's not just one team anymore or two teams. Right. Yeah. It used to be two teams, the first team and a reserve team. Yeah, I'm going back probably 40 years, but look at it now. Is it 29 clubs or something like that? Teams in the club? It's mad, isn't it?
And I forget all the people doing it, but obviously there's Jake Daniels who does the kids and that.
Yeah, and a lot of that's all voluntary, isn't it? So,
well, they need to talk to Malk, get a decent agent, mate. Voluntary.
Yeah.
The touching on all of that. As I said to you, the council they've said that facilities are coming, right? And facilities are coming, right? So an announcement will be soon.
Okay.
I have heard this, but that's what I heard, and but that's what I've heard. The facilities are coming, right? I've also heard strongly that there's other options other than Tynekiln.
This is where I think there's something.
And the strong option I heard, which was the Horntine site as well.
That'd be handy.
But about
100 yards.
What needs to happen is that people need to talk to each other, not threaten each other, and sort something out that's going to be good for this town and for our football team. Because it's not just about our football team; it's about facilities for this town. So because we want everyone playing sport, we want active kids.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's not all about Hastings United.
No, I've got a mate of mine who you might know Andy Barr. He lives in Maidstone, and the community football and stuff around that club up there, their crime rate amongst youngsters has gone downhill. It's just completely almost obliterated. Obviously, they've still got some, but they're more interested in the club now. Some of these youngsters are, they're playing football, they're doing other stuff around the club. Suddenly they got an interest rather than sitting on a corner on the street,
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, it is important.
Really important these days. And,
and that's why places like Tynekiln have got to happen. It's used, the 3G pitches, with floodlights are used every night around in Kent. You can't get on a 3G pitch at all in Kent, every night of the week because it's used, and that's where the kids are.
Yeah.
Right, moving on from that very quickly, Wingate and Finchley, home fixture. I'm away. I'm up north. I'm watching the Mackhams. I'm at Sunderland game, getting rid of my dad's ashes, not throwing them at anyone, but throwing them somewhere very nice. That will mean something nice. But Windy and Malk, are you boys at the game?
Yes.
No, I won't be there. I'm afraid I'm working on the night. So
yeah, I'm hoping to be there. It's not going to be easy. Wingate in a false position, I think. They've had another team on a bit of a roll in the Form League. They're only 2 points behind us in the Form League. That's the last 6 games, for those who don't know. And they beat Bognor at the weekend 4-2. So, another game. It's not going to be easy, but beatable, obviously. So, yeah, hopefully it'll be a good game.
Yeah.
There's other teams up there now, aren't there? Like Folkestone are suddenly on a roll as well, and it'd be interesting. They got Bishop Stortford Saturday, so it'd be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, that's going to be a toughie. I'm mentioning Bishop Stortford, just for anyone listening. On the 11th for your away day, there is a jolly. Trainers leaving at 8:21 in the morning, which will be full of Hastings fans, where we will all be drinking Vimto.
So you should.
And it's usually a good crack. Whenever we do our jollies every season, they're always a good fun. It's about the day. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it obviously matters about the result, but it doesn't matter about the result really. We all have fun. So please join us. 8:21 Hastings Station. That's on the 11th. Lads, listen, thanks for coming on.
One other thing, Chris, very quickly. You haven't heard anything about the Sussex Senior Cup match, have you? It's still outstanding. It's ridiculous. They played
the Midhurst game, yeah?
Yeah.
Midhurst Eastbourne.
They know who the other semi-finalists are, I think, after tonight. But we still got 2 or 3 rounds to go, yeah? If we win. It's really weird.
I don't understand it at all.
Even Midhurst don't know. I saw it on Twitter. They said they haven't got a clue what's going on. So bizarre.
Wow.
Bizarre.
Yeah, very odd. Well, it just makes the competition look naff, doesn't it? It's
well, that's it. It used to be. Yeah, it used to be quite a prime thing. This time of the year, you might be out of all the other competitions, but the Sussex Senior Cup is still going on, and you stand a chance. We've got a good chance this year of getting to the final because Brighton's out, Crawley's out, and there's I think it's Horsham left in there, Bognor. They're all beatable, aren't they? So
yeah,
and wouldn't that be nice to end playing the finals at Amex as well? So.
Going up and a cup as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, double season. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Lads, thank you.
Yeah,
Take
you
care.
All right, mate.
Won't see
Cheers,
you at the
Chris.
game, but see you the week after. Take care, lads.
Yeah,
Cheers.
take
Yeah,
care,
see you
mate.
later, lads.
See you, mate. See you.
That we stand up for.